Sound strap.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Jason. This is Steffen. This is Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and today is New Year's Day, January 1st, 2024. And before I do anything else, I want to say Happy New Year. As some of you are probably aware from the last video, we went up to Indiana where Steffen purchased this wheel horse tractor. So in the last video, we showcased it running, driving, we cut some grass with it. But this video, we're going to go ahead and start dismantling it. We're going to take the deck off, we're going to take the PTO off, we're going to take all the associated things off this tractor that does not need for it to become a mud mower. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'd also like to say that this is the very first wheel horse tractor I've ever seen in my life in person. So it's going to be a learning curve. I'm not used to working on these things at all. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of good advice in the last video. You guys dropped a lot of comments and gave us a lot of insight, like Abby Normal Garage. Yes, there's definitely damage to this hood, but if we didn't do all that, you know, we just got this thing a day before yesterday, and I knew there was there should have been some sort of a stop device, but no, the hood has been resting on this piece of steel here for a number of years because there's definitely a dent and missing paint. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and take the battery out so we don't have to worry about that thing shorting out. We're going to pop the hood off and we're just going to start wrenching on this thing. Stay tuned. So I'm taking out the battery so we don't have to worry about it shorting out to anything. And Steffen's going to go ahead and he's removing the grounds for the hood, for the headlights. We're going to go ahead and take the hood off this thing temporarily. But other than that, this is going to be pretty straightforward. The next thing we're going to do after taking out the battery and the hood off this thing is we're going to jack it up in the air and get the deck out from under it next. Alright, we got everything disconnected from the hood, the headlights, the grounds, the little E-clip that goes on this pin that the hood pivots on. And Steffen's going to go ahead and knock that pin out so we can take the hood off. Apparently there was 2 E-clips. The dog bed now became a horse bed. That was pretty simple. Yeah. Alright, well, it was pretty straightforward like I thought. Well, I just dialed in this thing here, took all the slack off the idler pulleys for the belt, for the deck belt. We pulled a little pin on this support for the sheave, the PTO sheave, and it just comes right off, no big deal. So next we're gonna get the mower dropped out from under this thing, the deck, and then start looking into removing some of these linkages for the PTO and all that. So that's the upper PTO bracket. There's a lock ring on this we need to get off to be able to pull that off. Or just unbolt it right here. Looks like 1/2 inch. So as we take this thing apart, we're not going to be destroying anything or cutting anything, hopefully. I mean, we're going to do our best not to cut or, like I said, destroy anything. I'm putting all this stuff right back how it was with the bolts, the washers, everything. We're going to put it all in a tote, labeled, so, you know, if this thing ever wanted to be restored, wouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, that being said, I don't know how much welding and other modifications we're actually going to do to this. Probably a lot. So all this might just be for sale or a giveaway if somebody wants it. Let me know if you guys need these pieces and parts for your tractors. You just pay shipping, I'll send them to you.
Got it?
Yeah. Can't reach that one yet. Can't even see it. Alright, so we're making progress pretty quick. We're not taking the deck off like you probably would if you just wanted to take it off, you know, in your yard and then put it back on later. This thing's coming off pretty much permanently, and like I said, all the associated brackets and stuff. So we just unbolted these brackets right here from the front where it was hanging from the frame. And now there's this chain that goes to that lift rod. So Steffen's gonna go ahead and unbolt that now from the chain. And there shouldn't be a whole lot left after this.
I'll look at the side.
Let the deck hang on the floor. There you go.
Alright, that's it.
Alright, is this thing connected to the tractor in the back?
Maybe.
Like you probably just slide this out sideways. There. Can you get the deck out there? Slide it out. There it is. I gotta say, this thing looks a lot cooler already. What do you think, Steffen?
Oh yeah.
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and let it back down. We're gonna put the hoist on it and jack it up so we can get out the stuff from underneath it. So we'll be back in a minute.
Hey Dad, what are you doing?
Oh man, I'm taking out the trash. So we got a little bit sidetracked and we started focusing on trying to get all this stuff out of this front bracket. And everything came off pretty easy, a bunch of E-clips. Then there's this piece, and it seems like the pin that goes through it just slides inside this tube. So I've already heated it up with a MAP gas torch, and we started making some progress. Because I'm a man of my word, and I said we weren't going to cut anything. But I did call for the Sawzall. I don't think it's going to be necessary because it started moving. And something else that I was wondering, we were wondering, is are these engines only bolted on the frame by 2 bolts on one side? Because these are missing and they're not even over top of the frame. Just wondering if anyone's still watching, has any insight, let us know. We're going to get back to it. You can stop filming anything. Get it off the foam before it melts it. Yeah, I'll be sure to keep that piece. We'll use that in the future, I guarantee it. Alright, so now that we took off the idler pulley for the mower deck and all that, those pins and all that stuff, it left a nice little bracket with 2 hooks for us to grab onto with the sling. We're going to pick this thing up pretty high in the air so you can see underneath it. We're going to take out all the associated deck linkages, that lifting rod deal, and all that good stuff.
Hey, do. What are you doing? Maybe. Well, these bolts and then probably these will come off too. Or is that not? That's not one piece, no.
All right, so getting this lift bar out of here is going to be a little bit more involved than I thought. We're going to go ahead and take the seat pan off, maybe the foot supports, I don't know. But we're taking the seat off right now, and hopefully that'll help us get some access into this thing. Gas cap.
Wheel fork still your bed, dude? Wow.
So we got the body panels off and the belt guide. We're trying to get this shaft for the lift lever out. And it's definitely a little bit of a puzzle because it's got a couple of cotter pins in the center, which I think that would drop that center lift shaft out. And there's E-clips, and it looks like this whole thing might just have to come apart, like the whole mower, just to get that out. And I gotta be honest, the Sawzall is very tempting. But we're gonna try without cutting. So, Steffen, go ahead and see what you can do under there. See if you can get them pins out. So we need to get this E-clip off. There it went. All right, a little bit of violence, no big deal. How does that pin come out? You can shine the flashlight on this. Oh, that's perfect. I wonder if we can get this panel off.
Alright.
Alright. We are a couple steps closer to getting this thing freed up, liberated from the tractor. All right, so there was a pin, a roll pin through that. And we need something to pull it off of the shaft. That piece that goes through there, where's the little flashlight? If I only had a Sawzall. We definitely want to make sure to save this piece and properly store it for safeguard in the future. Well, we gave it the good old college try, but it was a big fail. We can't get the straps out of that center piece that lifts the deck up and down. So we don't have much of a choice but to neuter her. You've seen them one, you've seen them all. Some are big and some are small. But I'm here to tell all of y'all, in the end, it's going to be the Sawzall. Now we got that nightmare out from underneath it. We got to get this one next. And then we're almost ready to go for a test rip. I don't know what Wheel Horse was thinking when they made this little evil device for the PTO engagement. We don't got to worry about it anymore. Steering on this thing's jank too. Look at this. And we took all that apart for no reason because we didn't realize all this was one piece back to the gas tank. But it's coming along nicely. Well, everything's all stripped off of this thing that it doesn't need. Well, that's debatable, but there's some more wiring and stuff that we're going to clean up in the future. Not today, because we're basically out of time. I got to go to work tomorrow, and it's going to be the following weekend before we can get back on this thing. Plus, it needs parts. It needs tires. We need to get pulleys for it, all that good stuff. So we want to put this thing back together so that Steffen can rip it around in the meantime and at least enjoy it for now. So we're going to go ahead and put the body panels back on, and that's going to take a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and do the old clap method. So in 3, 2, 1. Wow, that really works pretty dang good. It's a little violent, but I like it. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to redo the connections for the battery. So we have all these ground wires right here. We took out the PTO switch, so we're going to find out if that needs to be wired through or if just being open is going to be okay. Because we took that out, and all the grounds were landed under this bolt right here. I'm going to redo the wire from the battery to the solenoid and from the battery to the ground. And we're going to reuse, I had a bunch of this cable left over from my winch, so it's nice. Real thin stranded for DC current, real heavy gauge. I think it's number 4. I got some lugs. I got some number 6 lugs that just happened to fit on there that we're going to crimp on. And we're going to get the battery back in this thing. We'll secure the battery because before someone had it done with baling wire. So once we get that, that's all the mods today. And we're going to go for a test ride. We're finishing up the grounds. I'm just crimping this last number 6 crimp on to this winch cable from my tractor. So we've got new cables. That'll be good for now because the old ones were really bad. And also I think we're going to do is we're going to ground the engine better. I don't know if there's any ground wires going to the actual motor. Besides probably the ground for the coil. So we're going to go ahead and clean a spot, maybe use this bolt or something. We're going to clean a spot and run another wire from here over to the ground point. Maybe that way the starter will throw out better. Alright, we got the positive cable replaced, the negative cable replaced back to a ground point, and then I grounded the engine better right here. So what's left to do is close it up, crank it up, take it for a ride.
be that safety switch. Yep. Sucks.
Alright guys, I ran into a little bit of a problem I think it's worth mentioning. Not a big deal because we're going to rewire this thing completely. But for today's sake, there was a bunch of wiring that went through this PTO safety switch that somebody fabricated with a Mountain Dew can. Anyway, I put the wiring back on it and we weren't getting anything with the key switch. So I tested it and I found there was a keyed hot wire that went to this PTO switch that probably went through the starting circuit into the solenoid. So I just took that wire out of the equation, put a butt splice on it, and landed it right on the solenoid. So now this thing's bypassed, and we bumped it, and we know it's going to start. Another thing is I think that I was correct with the engine not being grounded, not getting voltage, and that's why the starter was having a hard time engaging. But now when we bump it, it just instantly engages. So we're going to go ahead, Steffen's going to get on this thing and see if he can't fire it up. Much better. You see that? It was just the connections. Alright, let's take it outside. Cut it. Why are you going so slow? That's just the belt rubbing on the belt guide. Crawl up it. Oh, there it goes. Starting to slip. He's slipping. Oh, it went right up.
Yeah. Did it.
Those tires are more aggressive than turf tires.
For sure.
Even though they are turf tires, they just have taller, spaced apart lugs.
Yeah. Especially for their size.
It's all rutted out right here, and all the rocks are exposed from the 212 coming through here and getting stuck and digging and then plowing up through here. So this is pretty gnarly, a lot gnarlier than it looks on camera. All right, y'all, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content as usual. We got a lot more in store for this thing. Well, Steffen has a lot more in store for this thing. We got to get tires. We got to do a belt system, the creepy crawler belt system. We got to do belt guides. We got to do a pulley swap. We got to do wiring. We got to do a front axle swap with one of these John Deeres we got laying around. We got to do lights. But it's going to be a lot simpler and a lot faster process than the old John Deere was. If you're new to the channel, please comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, I'm Jason, this is Steffen, this is Tennessee Mountain Homestead, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, we gotta finish the video.